Everybody, welcome back to Red Tool House. Today is project number 3 of our excavator work here. And now we're no longer at the retreat. We're down at what's going to be our new sawmill location. The sawmill is going to be an integral part in building our retreat. If you want to know more about that, we'll link to some videos here. But the sawmill, in case you figure out where you guys are, here's the barn. Here's the sawmill, its existing spot where the excavator is, all the way up to this spot right here. See this white post? We're gonna start removing all of this mound of dirt, flatten everything out here and get as flat a pad as possible. And we'll have to accommodate obviously our sawmill with a shed, the road to still get up to the farrowing barn because it's right here behind me, and then of course the staging area. So we're not quite sure how we're gonna lay this out just yet, but when you got flat land, you can do anything, right? All you flatlanders? So right now I'm thinking the sawmill will be on the bank side so I can shoot sawdust over the hill, but we'll see. Like I said, we'll jump off that bridge when we get to it. Right now it's just a matter of getting everything flat and getting it visible so we can see what we're dealing with. So come along. Okay, so day 2 of our sawmill shed preparation, our pad there, the sun. And this morning, it's a little slow start because we're doing some refueling and some repair. We broke the sway bar arm on the Coyote yesterday, pushing some dirt. And those, this is my second set that I've damaged in the 17 years that I've had this. And while I like the design and the features it gives, it's definitely the weakest point. So you can see that one's not supposed to be bent in a horseshoe shape like that. And of course that one broke off clean. So I got one that partially works and one I'm holding in my hand. So I think I'm going to try to do a makeshift chain adjustment, or just use an old piece of chain to stabilize for now. Unfortunately, last night I drove out to Tractor Supply, an hour drive, because they said they had some chain stabilizers in stock. And their website even showed it as well. And when I got there, nobody could find them. So one guy said, I've never seen those, I don't even know what those are. Never seen those before in my life. So that's what you run into. So we're gonna look and probably order. I think I'm gonna switch to chain stabilizers. More I've been reading on it, maybe that's something to do. I'm not happy with the quality of metal that these Coyote ones are made out of. So we'll look at do something aftermarket, something a little better. But right now, let's see if we can do a redneck engineering to at least stabilize so we can still push some dirt. Okay, so you know you've used a little excessive force when the cotter pin that holds this main pin in place. So there's the remnant of the cotter pin. And then I looked at the washer that was to retain the cotter pin. It is completely, see the channels that's got? So I just touched it and it fell off. So a little excessive force there on those mounts. So we'll have to take it a little easier. Well, to say I've got it fixed is probably too strong a term to use. I hesitate to even begin to show you my welds. I believe a drunk one-eyed monkey can do a better job, but here's what we've got. So that's just obviously cobbling together the parts that I had and putting a piece of chain on there to hold it. And it does what it's supposed to. Obviously that's to keep it from kicking to the right too far, so it can swing to the left, but then when it comes back to the right, the chain's to stop it. So we'll see how long that holds up. All right, so we've got this project finished up here for the sawmill pad and really excited with how this turned out. So let me give you some details and even show a little bit about what we're thinking about doing with this layout now that we see how the land lays. So this is where the large hump was. You can see the white fence post, it's PVC over a T-post, that is kind of a corner post for the pig fence. That was the peak, the highest point of that hump. And of course it came down the hill here and really came out pretty far. In fact, the original hump came out to about where I'm standing is where we had that uneven ground. So cut all of that out. And as far as the stream goes, it'll still come down the hill. Instead of catching the high ditch line, it'll just come on down. Obviously we will get a little bit of a wash. We'll wait and see how it forms its bed. There's enough stone in there. In fact, I hit solid rock right here. So there's enough stone in there that I think after it washes that top bit of soil down, fills in some of our low pockets, then we'll get a pretty established stream bed there. But that only runs when we have a heavy rain. Now come late November, early December, if we have a late wet fall, or have a wet late fall, then that'll start trickling on a regular basis. So the idea, of course, is the water will run down, again, solid stone right here, and then tie right back into our existing ditch that we created several years ago with a dozer, down to the big pig wallow, fill up the wallow, and then go out. The wallow I use as a silt catch, so it catches all of my runoff before it goes into the main stream. So this area right here was lower, grassy, of course, was the spot where actually a little swampy because it had a little spring coming out. But we've been able to lift, taking all that overburden, we've been able to raise that up anywhere from 2 to 3 feet in certain areas. Got it really level now, and even brought it out to a point. Let me back up here to show you, try not to spin around too much. So there's almost like this little peninsula that sticks out. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but it's just a little point here that's flat. And the reason why I did that, of course, I want to create as much flat land as possible in a linear way, because if we're going to put the sawmill shed right here with the sawmill underneath it, of course, then I wanted to have the opportunity on either side to be able to stack lumber, to have it drying. So if I'm going to build a shed that incorporates a lumber storage area, then we'll have that option as well, and not have to do a step down and not have to transport that lumber very far. So since the road to the farrowing barn is the only road that I have to get there, and actually the only way I can access this side of the mountain and the easternmost portion of the property, I had to leave that open and and easy to pass through. So the idea would be to come down the existing slope and then kind of break to the left just a little bit. You can kind of see where the side-by-side is sitting. So come down and hook over. This will give me the opportunity to set the mill here under shelter, and then even be able to stage logs in front of the mill and not block the road. And I'll have a little space to put maybe a couple logs over here and be kind of driving through the center. Very similar to what I have down here. So for the immediate future, with the mill sitting here, then we'll still kind of do what we're doing now. We'll take the slabs, the cutoffs, and we'll just toss them over the hill there in our existing slab pile. Now that slab pile hopefully is going to get smaller here in the next couple months when we get in there and chip all that. If I can get a large chipper. I was asking the rental company the other day about them, and they're not sure they're going to have any available for the next 6 months. But so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We definitely have other plans for that as well. So slab pile there, sawdust will just shoot over the side as well, and then go down and against that hillside. So it'll be something I can obviously come in and tractor bucket and scoop out on the lower level, and that'll allow me to free this space up. Now haven't really talked about the plans of what we're going to do there where the mill is. But we do have some plans. Will involve some gravel, some additional work, maybe even a structure there. But we'll jump off that bridge later. That's a ways to go. So I really have 2 days left with the excavator. In fact, I ran it. I think we have about 16 hours left on the clock, and got a couple little small projects going to work on. Nothing big, nothing worth pointing out to you guys. But I think we're going to get close to. I think we may use another 8 hours. We'll see how it goes. So definitely worth the rental, and definitely allowed me to get a lot of work done. Now, if you're interested, some people had commented on the previous video that they like time-lapse of construction work, and on this one I actually shot a pretty lengthy time-lapse. So if you want to see, there's something I think therapeutic or methodic about watching a piece of equipment move in time-lapse. So at the end of this video, if you want to watch, I think there's maybe 2 to 3 minutes worth of time-lapse. I'll just include it. You can watch it from kind of start to almost finish there before my battery ran dead. So it's kind of interesting to watch. Well, I appreciate everybody watching and the comments that you leave. I read every single one of them and try to respond as much as I can, especially if it's a question particularly or something you're looking for a reply. So I appreciate all the input you guys have added. All right, take care.